Welcome to your day 6 debrief. So why don't we start out by reviewing where we've been today. It's been a busy day. So let's begin. Let's jump to our next slide. All right, we skipped a slide there. So we're going to the next slide right after let's begin. Amanda, I think you skipped a couple there. There we go. Okay. So where we started today was we crowdsourced a list of research interests that was in our spreadsheet. So if you want to revisit that, you can click on that in our slides, which we posted on Slack and provided to you in the chat box. So you started by trying to crowdsource some ideas. You placed the name of your research interest across the top column and then also noted areas of interest you have. So this is going to be useful for you today, tomorrow, and probably long after this, because you have a list of people interested in working together on projects. So I would encourage you to bookmark this page. It's going to be useful. From there, we had you head into a series of rounds of room assignments. So that's our next slide. Thank you. So over the course of the day in 10-minute increments, you cycled through room Simone Biles, room Naomi Osaka, room Serena Williams, room Allison Felix, and room Wilma Rudolph, and shared your research interests, hopefully spent some time fleshing out some ideas on some of these projects, figuring out who might be a good research partner or partners, ask questions about folks, not just the research interests, but also their skill sets. So we did 2 complete experiences. We did one this morning where we cycled through rounds 1 through 6, then we came back and gave you a chance to do it again, so that if that first one or one of them was one you didn't get as much time and you got a second round of that. So that's how we spent our morning and a bit of our afternoon. Let's talk about what happens next. So next is a bit of choose your own adventure. So we started a new SICSS-Howard Mathematica Google Doc for you. Some of you found that a little bit earlier, but we removed everything, so it's a fresh start. There's nothing there. So we'd like you to all take a few minutes, and we're saying 5 minutes, but just note that our expectation isn't that you stop doing this after 5 minutes and have no more time. You have way into the evening to think about this and add this. We want you to feel like you've had time to flesh out your ideas. So we want you to take 5 minutes and write up your favorite group project idea. So I say favorite because that means 1. Favorite is 1. So I think we had some folks who had multiples in there. So we're asking you to spend a little time and get down to your personal favorite 1. Everyone gets to add their 1. So if you have a few people you're talking to, maybe one person writes up 1, one person writes up another, 1. Okay. So your favorite group project idea. We're going to have you add that to that document. And then after those are written up, and again, more time than 15 minutes here. So honestly, don't even stress or worry about this happening right now. It's probably better if you spend a little time on this a little bit later. After that, after all of them are listed, we want folks to go through and add their names next to the ones or 1 that they're interested in. So that is the track for those people who are interested in participating in a group exercise between now and the end of the week. So I say that because, and I noted this earlier, so we mentioned the challenges of free writing in group exercises. Yeah, Amanda, can you drop the link to the slides in the chat box for us, please? Thank you. So I brought up earlier, so there's this thing that, free writing happens in groups, and I'm a firm believer that often means that people have different value propositions for that time or other things that they want to be spending their time on. And if given the opportunity, people can be just as productive on their own as they can in the group. And I want to invite you to think about how you want to spend this time. So the SICSS model prescribes that how you spend this time is in groups working on research projects of the type that I described earlier. So we want you to start by putting your favorite research project there, potential research project, or the creation of some sort of open source tool in that document. And then you'll have some time to add your names to the ones that you're interested in working on, right? If we seem to have lost our slides there. Don't know what happened. There it is. Great. If over the course of that exercise and overnight tonight, you think about it and you're like, you know what? Actually, I'd like to spend some time working on buttressing my R skills, or, there's a project that I'm working on my own in my discipline. You're solo authored. I'd like to spend this time working on a piece of something that's important to me. We'll give you a chance to share that intention. So it is okay for us to have group projects running, and then also for a few people to decide they want to do something on their own too. Also, that's totally fine. What we want to make sure you realize, though, is if you decide to go the solo route, the funding is set aside for group work. So in making the decision to work on your own, which totally fine, you are bowing out of the possibility of funding from us and from the main site. And to be honest, when I did this during SICSS Princeton, if I had been given this option, I would have jumped at this in a heartbeat. There were things that I was trying to learn, and to have the time and space to work on those for a solid week, are you kidding me? That's a great option. So I want you to think about what you want. So do the exercise of adding your top research project, add your names to the ones that are interesting to you that you might want to work on, and also think overnight tonight about what you want to do. So we will close this sheet at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. We'll lock the sheet to all edits, and then we'll give you a chance to share what you have decided, whether you are part of a group. And I'm expecting, and we're expecting, that you'll be connecting into the evening tonight over Slack. I've already seen somebody put something up on Slack, which is great, about, I think it was healthcare. So start writing to each other on Slack. You've got our email list. You have everybody's emails. They're in that document. You also, everything's in our email list also too. So start writing to each other and figure out what the path is for you this week. And we're gonna try our best to make sure we support you in that. So starting tomorrow, you'll have access to TAs that have expertise in all the things that we've covered this week, and as well as R and Stata and Python. And if there are special requests, we probably could help you with that also. So you'll have access to TAs that will you can reach out to via email and schedule time to chat with about your projects. So we want to make sure you continue to have the support you need to build the tools and to start doing the research that you're excited about. Okay. I want to remind you of our timeline for this week. That's our next slide. So again, today was about developing group project ideas and making research teams. You will definitely get a follow-up email from us tonight on what is expected to happen after we close for the evening, and timelines and such. Most of it's in these slides, but you'll get an email from us. Tuesday morning, you'll share your intentions. Your teams will write up a brief. It'll be about a one-page proposal about what you plan to do. We will provide a model for you to do that in the morning. So I suspect many of you will be working to write up things overnight and sort of crystallize your thoughts. But we will give you a format for how you are to present that to us, and help make us aware of any funding needs you might have in the short term or in the long term. So on Tuesday afternoon, we'll talk about seed funding. So smaller requests on a rolling basis between now and Friday, smaller requests to help you get things moving. And then Tuesday afternoon to Thursday night, you'll be working on those group projects or individual projects as the case may be. And on Friday, all of our groups will present. We'll actually have a special guest joining us for our presentations on Friday, which I think you'll be excited about. And you'll have a chance to give and get feedback. And at the close of that, and we'll talk about funding for the longer term a bit tomorrow. I have 2 slides added here to talk about funding tomorrow. You'll also learn how you can apply for larger amounts of funding. As I mentioned, some folks over the last few years have gotten $6,000, $7,000, sometimes less, sometimes more, for well thought out projects. So something to think about. And remember, regardless of what happens, there's a great learning experience here. We'd love to see presentations from groups where things went well, or where things didn't go the way you wanted them to. I think, as you've realized the last few days, part of the fun of this work is debugging and figuring out things that you did not expect to happen. Okay. All right. So continuing along, we are going to drop. You can stop screen sharing. Thank you. We're going to drop our anonymous pulse survey into the chat box right now. So we'd like to get your keep, start, stops for the day, as well as any advice that you have, things you want us to know about. And as you know, we review those and we'll go over those tomorrow morning. We also want to remind you of the sign-up sheet for asking questions of our speakers, as well as our lunchtime bite-sized talks. So we definitely have a few spots open with Ruha tonight. We will create 3 time slots for up to 8 people to interact with her. So if you are thinking about getting on the schedule with her, please do that. I'm seeing her, actually, she has just arrived. Fantastic. I'm going to let her in. Amanda, can you take her to the staff room, headed to our, to the speaker holding room?
Yep.
Let me know when you're, okay, so go ahead and let her in and move her when you have a chance. All right. So I also want to, since you all have asked for this, go over the schedule for tomorrow. So we're just going to go over what tomorrow is going to look like briefly. So you know where you need to be and when. Thank you for your patience today, as our schedule changed a little bit and we weren't allowed to update it on the website. We weren't able to update it on the website, but we've now been able to start doing that. So tomorrow's schedule. All righty then. Tomorrow's schedule, Tuesday. We'll begin at 10 o'clock, 10 to 10:15. We'll go over logistics, any updates for the day. I will go over the format for your brief, as well as funding. And then you'll spend the larger part of the day working on group projects from 10:15 to 12. Feel free to take breaks whenever you'd like within there. From 12 to 1, you will return for a lunchtime talk with the University of California's publishing negotiation team lead, which is also the one of our the head librarian from UC Berkeley. Will be speaking to us about the negotiation to get open access to different journals that are normally behind academic firewalls. So that should be fun. And thank you to those of you who have agreed to ask questions. You'll return to working on projects from 1 to 4. And then you'll return in the evening for 4 to 5:30 with one of our guest speakers. That's Chris Wheat, who's a PhD and also co-president of JP Morgan Chase Institute. He has also been on faculty at MIT. And I'm trying to remember where else. He's an interesting guy. We've got his bio up on the website, so take a look. And then we will, somewhere in there, we'll do a quick debrief and answer questions, probably right after we talk to Chris, and there'll be office hours. So that covers our time together. All right, tomorrow. Let me make sure I have not missed anything on my list. I want to thank our special guests. So we have Black and AI board member Devin Guillory today. Dr. Ruha Benjamin will be with us shortly. Terry Adams, Professor Terry Adams, starting off the morning with us, and our event staff, Amanda and Amber. We're a woman down today, and at this point, it's just me and Amanda. So we thank you for your patience. Thank you all for watching. For more information on SICSS-Howard Mathematica, visit our website, follow us on social media, and join our email list.